A few people have contacted me and about my videos and saying I was confusing the SSPX resistance, which is Bishop Williamson's group, with the official SSPX. And I just wanted to clarify, I am not making any allegations against the official SSPX. And I just wanted to relate a story with them. A few years ago, they were doing a boys' camp here, not far from my house. And it's not like there's lots of Catholic activities I can send my kids to here. I mean, literally, there's no boys' camp in this area, or Catholic camp or anything like this. And I said, okay, it's organised by the SSPX. And I specifically spoke to them about child safety. And I spoke to the parents about child safety. And the SSPX official, they were very open with me about their policies. The other parents that were sending their boys to the camp were open about the child safety. And so he had a very positive experience. And that's all I want for my children, is to have a positive experience of the faith, you know, which is not easy these days. So that at least they remember something positive. And I think any normal Catholic parent wants this. And priest or bishop or religious. We don't want the legacy of the past repeating itself in any group. And so I just wanted to make that point, the official SSPX, because people are getting nervous. You know, you have priests like Father Leo Boyle, who's been in Ireland for years, beloved by many, excellent priest, good catechesis. You know, I just make that point. And the only way forward for the church is transparency in this area, because it people just get they label us on this repeatedly, and they label poor priests. It's sad because a lot of priests don't want to get involved in youth ministry. They're afraid that one tiny mistake or one tiny allegation and they're under investigation and their name is blackened, and I can understand them. But unless we move forward together as a church, working as a team, our generations of young people will be failed by not having the opportunity to embark on this journey of knowing Christ and the faith, which is beautiful. So look, I just wanted to say this, and to people saying, oh no, I should remove my kids from the SSPX chapel and bring them to another parish. Some parishes have nothing for your kids. Our local parish has absolutely nothing for young people. You know, it's not like I could bring my son to serve Mass. If you serve Mass, you walk out with the priest and you sit to one side. That's it. You know, at least in Athlone, for example, they might have 14 or 12 or 14 altar servers. They're learning the responses in Latin. It's a challenge for them. You know, they have something, they come to Mass every Sunday to serve the priest. You know, the old Mass does challenge a young person in a positive way. You know, not making an idol out of the old rite, but there's a balance here that's been lost. Because, you know, if we look at the new rite, our local priest cannot say the consecration as translated by the Irish bishop. How are we ever supposed to bring somebody who loves the liturgy to a Novus Ordo Mass when our local priest, various of them, cannot say the consecration as translated by the Irish bishops, the official consecration, approved by Rome, you know, like, yeah. That's where we are. We shouldn't have this nonsense. There shouldn't be this nonsense in the church, but that's really where we've ended up. You know, the liturgy should be say the black, do the red. There should be no innovations, none of this bonker stuff. And that's why, you know, people, you know, with so much change and innovation in the church, people move to traditional groups because they see some stability. You know, no SSPX priest is going to stand up and innovate on the liturgy and ad-lib the liturgy and say, and we hold up the chalice like the McCarthy cup, or, you know, oh, well, I like this translation of the consecration. That was before Pope Benedict, and such a theologian said that was a better translation. And I don't care what the Irish bishops have put out, and I don't care what Benedict did. I was ordained in the 1970s, and I know better. You know, and I'm the voice of reason here. Look, but on child safety, just we need transparency and accountability. It's right you ask the questions, but you cannot put somebody in ministry who has open allegations against them. Simply as, guys, in this area we have to be a bit tough. But so just to allay families with kids that have contacted me, I have no concerns about the SSPX today. In the past they did have issues in Ireland and they know that. But the priests that I've spoken to, the families I've spoken to today, they've put measures in place, and SSPX priests have said to me that if even a sniff of an allegation, the priest is removed from ministry. So look, I'm just relating the conversations I've had over the years, and look, guys, renew the faith in Ireland. That's all I'm asking. And we need to give our kids a positive experience of the faith and introduce them to something positive. My kids did love going to Mass with the SSPX. I remember we went for Christmas Mass a few years ago in Athlone, and they all loved it. They said, oh, it was such a beautiful evening. The singing, the Mass and everything. Everybody completely positive. It was uplifting. The chant, the community. The people aren't in some right-wing crackpots that people make them out to be. They're just normal Catholics. At least that's what we saw. Well, what's wrong with that? Again, I'm not here to divide the church, but there's nothing intrinsically wrong with offering a Mass that our grandparents would have experienced. Just stating the obvious. But then again, I'm not here to give a battle against the new liturgy, but the new liturgy, it has its issues as well. Every celebration needs to be an innovation. I need to tweak this and change that, and that's okay. But then again, if we cannot say the consecration or say the canon sometimes, does it have to be a race to become very utilitarian? What's so wrong with respecting the Eucharist, receiving reverently, so that the host isn't falling under pews and falling on the ground? And what's so bad receiving on the tongue or offering a kneeler for communion? Is this going to destroy our churches or extend the Mass too long, or So look, I'm just giving this in good faith, because I wasn't making any allegations against the official SSPX in Ireland today, that exist today. Their structures, their priests, they deeply love the faith. Deeply. Anybody that's spoken to them privately, they love the faith. And they want the best for families in their chapels. And I'm sure Bishop Williamson and Bellini did as well. But look, they made serious errors in judgment, and I'm calling out those errors. You were warned about a priest. You put him into ministry. You brought him into ministry. You gave out his telephone so people could contact him and said he's a priest in good standing. Come on, guys. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.